You are listening to This is Oklahoma, hosted by Mike Hearn, telling stories of Oklahomans and those that have made it their home.
Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you a little bit about our current sponsors, the Oklahoma Hall of Fame. As you well know, if you've been following This is Oklahoma, they've been a huge part of this podcast. So this podcast is presented by the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, telling an Oklahoma story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com and follow them on Instagram for daily updates at oklahomahof. Also, for the podcast, a new sponsor, RCB Bank. The home market is booming and RCB Bank is here for you. If you're in the market to buy a home, a mortgage pre-qualification will make the process much easier. Talk to one of our mortgage professionals today. RCB Bank, that's my bank. With approved credit, terms and restrictions apply. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, RCB Bank, NMLS 798151. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of This is Oklahoma. Mike Hearn here, your host, back with another episode down at the Bedford studio with Vilona Michael. I think there's a lot of good things that are going to come from this podcast. Mostly the amount of laughs that we're going to, just from a personal standpoint, we're going to laugh our heads off. I have the feeling we're going to do that. People listening, if you don't know who my guest is, you've probably been living under a rock. But if you're in the PR world or in the marketing world or anything on social media in the Oklahoma City area, then you will know definitely your work. Maybe not who you are, but clearly know the people that you work with and for and do amazing things. But before we dive into all that cool stuff, tell us a little bit about who you are and what your background is and how you get to, this amazing state that we live in.
Wow, that's a really general question, Mike.
Where to start?
Where to start?
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for even asking me to be on the podcast.
Of course.
I'm honored. My name is Vilona Michael. I've owned a full-service marketing agency for 13 years. If we're going to start from the start, I was born in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, which is always a shocker for people.
Yeah.
I am full-blooded East Indian. My parents came on a boat in the 60s.
Yeah.
And, it kind of just started from there. My dad met a man who they just became friends and connected with on this boat. The man happened to be from Kingfisher, Oklahoma.
So that's how you
and
get
so
here.
They befriended my parents. My mother did not know a lick of English. She was 19 years old.
Yeah.
Didn't know any English. If you met her now, she'd talk your head off, and I can't imagine a day where my mother didn't know English. That's it. Oh my gosh, seriously. Let me put that on a podcast so my mom is proud.
Family dinners, I'm sure.
All of it is her.
Yeah.
All of everything, the connections and all that, my vibe, it comes from my mother's side of the family. But she, so this family kind of adopted my parents, and we had Christmases and Thanksgivings, and my parents lived in a lot of different places, but at one point in their life they were in Kingfisher, and that's where I was born. And I'm the baby. I'm the third.
Why did mom and dad come out here?
Give their kids a better education.
Yeah.
Right? That's why immigrants come out here. Yeah. And visas, they did it the right way. They're both American citizens, by the way. I remember my mother studying for the test, and I'm thinking, I don't know that I know all of the answers to these questions.
Yeah. I need to take that test. I haven't done it yet.
You haven't done it yet?
Not yet. No.
Oh,
I need to do it.
Yeah, you got to do it. So, my parents did it all the right way and raised three incredible children. My older brother is an orthopedic surgeon. My sister is in web securities. And I am in marketing. Anyone that has any kind of cultural ethnic background knows why I say it that way.
Yeah. Everyone who's thinking just so is this, who the person you're talking to, when you're an immigrant family, right? It's the three big things. It's engineering, you're a doctor, and then maybe teaching, right? You're a professor, right? And I've had plenty of guests on the podcast who've the same thing. It's we went the other route. We wanted to be our own social butterflies, and we found something that we really enjoyed. And the conversations that you've had with your parents, no, I want to go do this, right? And
completely was not happy about that. Which it didn't matter. I went to the University of Tulsa. I paid for college completely by myself. I'm really proud of that. At the moment, it wasn't the best. When you're 18 or 19 years old and you're sitting here trying to afford just a $2 Wendy's bacon cheeseburger, because that was my favorite.
And proving that you can do it.
It actually kind of helped. But yeah, they were not happy about the marketing. They are now. They're happy. Now they see it, and my mom sees it because it is. It's get married, have children, have them all 2 years apart. Literally, I did everything by the book. Didn't mean to. It just sort of happened that way. And yeah, but then what do you do?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and it's such a difference, right? There's so many, especially coming from India. This, like, from the UK, it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
They're not too far away culturally, but when you come in from, your parents coming from such a different culture, right? Different upbringing, the whole thing. And then they're raising you as they would have back home. And then you're just like, no, I want to go do my thing. Like, I'm sure it was... I mean, there's so many stories, and not just on the podcast, right? But of just immigrant stories and better lives, and they become doctors and into education or whatever it is, and because education is the route to success in immigrant families, right?
That's what they think.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what they see, and that's what they think. And thank goodness, my parents are pretty Americanized. So, we ate meat and drank and all that stuff. So they're really cool. But with my kids, I have 3, and I teach them that you just do whatever you want. I want you to be passionate because I get to live a passionate life in my work, and it just makes such a difference. The money will come. The money, you will pay the bills eventually. It'll, you'll get it figured out. So I very much am like that with my kids. I very much tell them, you don't have to get married. You don't even have to have children.
Yeah.
Please, no hate posts on that. I just think society puts too much pressure on people, and then they think they're inadequate. And I just think that's so sad.
Was it kind of culturally for you? Was parents expecting? Was it like arranged marriages, or was it like expected? Gosh. Like, what was that pressure like growing up here in Kingfisher too, right? Which I'm sure was not slim pickings.
We went from Kingfisher to Fort Smith.
Yeah.
Lived in Fort Smith for 5 years. For 5 years, we were the Indian family that owned a motel.
Yeah.
Love all my motel owning Indian friends, but I'm just saying, for 5 years we were them, and then we moved to Tulsa, where I was picked from private school in Fort Smith, Arkansas, really tiny, incredible private school, Catholic school with nuns, priests. Like, if I'm going to do Catholic school and pay for that, I want nuns and priests.
The whole
I want
thing.
the slapping of the ruler.
Yeah.
And then moved to Tulsa, went to Jinx. So then you're picked and go to like Jinx, and it's
and
huge, and it's into fashion, and oh my gosh, your style and all these things. You go from uniforms to
there's cliques and everything
these
else.
cliques and like that stuff. I started cussing. I'd never cussed. Like, there's just all these things. Great school though.
Yeah.
So
great football record.
Great football record. And then in the middle of high school, they moved to Oklahoma City, and I went to PC North. So that's where I graduated. Great high school. Okay. Yeah. And then I went to University of Tulsa. But anyway, getting raised, I mean, they just wanted me to get married. Yes, of course they wanted me to marry an Indian boy.
Right.
But as I tell many people out there were maybe a handful of cute ones in Oklahoma. Dated them all. I tried.
Right. Yeah.
They were great guys. It just didn't work out, And I told my parents, I mean, you should have lived in Texas or California or New York if you wanted me to marry an Indian guy.
Right.
Just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And so, my parents actually weren't arranged. They fell in love. They were neighbors. So they come from that background.
That did you a lot of favors.
It did,
up, right?
But, I have lots of friends that have parents that were arranged, and they're completely happy.
Yeah.
There's something kind of to it.
I mean, I see it. There's some, like I said, some points of me is like, I mean, I get it, but other points, like, you're like...
I mean, you kind of have to have that initial attraction.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that really works, but...
I mean, there's plenty of people out there who are like, this, like, you see like a beautiful woman with this dude who's just like twice her age, but he's got a ton of cash, so she's happy.
Oh, stop! Stop stereotyping.
But like, if you're the same age, and I mean, it's true, right? There's plenty of people out there, but like, if you, was there any? So there wasn't any pressure for you to do that, and
it was just get married. Yeah. She still preaches that to people. I keep telling my mother, stop telling people that they need to get married and have children.
Right.
Like, it's not the end all and be all.
Was it the same for brothers and sisters as well?
Yes,
like
all of us, all 3 of us. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, all 3 of us. But none of us married an Indian person. So that didn't end up happening. But I mean, that's just life. It happened. But we're happy. So
you've
that's
probably been to plenty of Indian weddings anyway.
I had an Indian wedding, so that's something. I did have that. That was the Friday night was the Indian wedding, and then the Saturday night was the American wedding.
Really?
So, I mean, I thought, I didn't know that I was going to have the whole Indian. Indian weddings are so beautiful.
Yes, they are.
They mean, like, everything is symbolism.
Right.
They mean so much, and they're so beautiful. And so, my husband was like, let's go, put the turban on, do the whole thing. And so he did, and we had, I mean, it was only a few hours.
Right.
Because weddings in India are like 7 days.
Yeah.
And so we had this Indian wedding, and it was amazing and beautiful. And then we had the American one the next day. And
same place?
No. Well, I mean, in Tulsa, but different locations.
Okay.
Because the Indian wedding, like they usually, you want like an empty room because they bring everything into it and create it.
Good,
Indian weddings, you have a snack in between. We serve pistachio ice cream after an hour and a half.
I need to go to an Indian wedding. This sounds like so much fun.
Well, they're so long, and you're sitting there for so long. So you serve a snack in between, which is fun.
Just be walking the aisles for snacks.
Yeah, everyone's giving snacks, and we're just up on like the stage, like doing our thing. And then the American wedding, was the next night at a glass chapel in Tulsa. It was awesome. So long time ago. Very long time ago. Yeah. So 22 years ago.
Good memories, though. We kind of didn't do that, but we did. We had a wedding here, and then we went back to Wales the following weekend.
See?
Well, we had a wedding on Saturday, flew to Wales on Monday, and then the following Saturday, then we were in Wales and had like a bit of a reception, really. Didn't have a wedding, we had a reception. But Taryn and my in-laws, we took everything that we wore in the wedding back. So she took her dress back. So we had like wedding photos in the same, this is going to sound super British and super UK of me and very like whatever, but we had our wedding photos in the same castle my parents had their wedding photos in, right? Which was like, which was awesome. But to me, like, and people, if you've never heard of Wales or the UK, like Wales has more castles per square mile than any other country in the world.
Really?
So Wikipedia says that, so I might not be true on that. But I've been telling people the same thing. So it's like there's like 5 in my hometown, right? And they're not just like some of them are ruins, but like they're pretty much most of them are still like they're not working, but there's enough of it there to still look like a castle. So like, so you climb and if you fell off, you'd probably hurt yourself. So we went to the same castle my parents had their photos in, which like to my wife was just like fairy tale, like awesome.
Of course.
But it was good that we did that. But it's obviously not like back-to-back days. That's intense.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of work. But by the time the American wedding happened and we had that reception, we just partied our butt off.
Now.
Though, what's cool about the American reception is that, most people, they would invite everyone to the wedding and then you go less on reception because it's money, right? We paid for our wedding all by ourselves, and I wanted every single person I knew, like anybody that meant anything. It is the only time that you have everyone that tell all your stories
looking
in
back
one
at mine,
room.
I wish I would have done. Which you over invite, right?
Yeah, the money. Money comes and goes. Like before you know it, you're older and it didn't matter.
That makes sense.
And so, Anyway.
Yeah. So you're in Tulsa then. You go to TU.
Yeah.
What do you go to TU for?
Oh, goodness. I'm going to share parts of the story that I can. But, no, I started as engineering. I thought I was going to be a math teacher to junior high and high school kids. Of course, my parents were like, "You're not going to make any money being a teacher. Like, you should be a teacher, right? Because it's about paying my bills."
Yeah.
But then my dad was happy it was math,
of course,
so he's like, "Go into engineering," and I'm like, "Okay,
super
great." So I start. I was in the Greek life, and I was a Kappa for any Kappas out there, and. Started in engineering, so I had Calc 1, Calc 2, Chem 1, Chem 2 labs, computer science.
That sounds like hell to me.
Yeah, anyone that knows me knows that I enjoy a beverage. Yeah. And oh my gosh, I partied my butt off my freshman year.
Like, I'm free, I'm having a great time. Yeah.
And that was not a good combination. No. I'm just going to say that right there. So it wasn't a good combination. I guess it's part of my story, so I do need to go there because it's part of it. And I actually just told a client about it last week, and I thought, I can tell people this because I'm successful now.
Right,
so it doesn't really
now
matter.
it's okay, right? But when you're trying to find a job, it's not a story to tell.
I practically flunked out my freshman year. I partied hard.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, knowing what I know now, I would have done it even more. I mean, life is short. Who cares about your GPA after your first couple jobs? Yeah. My children who are listening to this,
who are about to go to college.
I need you to still worry about your GPA.
Yeah.
Or all kids out there, you still have to kind of worry. But I was also in a profession that I was taking classes that had no interest to me. Why would I want to go? I remember my Calc 2 professor calling me like the last day of class and just saying, "I'm giving you a 70 and I have no idea why." Because I just showed up for testing.
Yeah.
And so, but the part of the story, why I have to say this is because then, you go home the summer after your freshman year and you stay with your family. And I waitress to put myself through college. Also internships later on in the higher years, but I waitressed. And so I was waitressing, making money, but I had lost a $7,000 grant because my GPA.
Yeah.
Who knew knew that you had to have a minimum GPA to keep this stuff.
Yeah. But people are going to give you money. You have to
you kind of have to at least make a 3.0.
Get a little bit back.
And so I lost a $7,000 grant. Yeah. Well, I thought, I'm not going to be able to go back to TU. I'm not going to be able to go back to my life and my friends. What am I going to do? So I continued to work. I went to UCO for a semester, tried business classes, made a 4.0, and made enough money, reapplied to TU, and got back in the spring. So I was only gone for one semester. Got back in the spring, took business classes, loved it, made great grades.
Found a passion.
Found it, I found some of the passion. I found more of it in my internships because there was a lot of market research.
Real world.
I mean, for anyone in business, I'm not. Right. I mean, I even hate to say this, but I didn't learn anything in my college classes. It's the market research class maybe, but that's about it.
Unless it's practical in real time. This is where you're studying and you're putting an impact or starting a business or whatever it is, making
I feel like college is more just about you becoming a person.
I agree.
And becoming a responsible person, And so that definitely happened. But so I ended up going back, had a great few more years, graduated with a marketing degree, and then worked for a database marketing company in downtown Tulsa after that, which was absolutely incredible experience. It's actually what I thought my agency was going to be. Right. And we work with financial institutions around the United States, like Citibank, Intrust Bank, like all the different banks, Bank of Oklahoma, everybody, on their strategy. So they would give you a database.
Gotcha.
You'd give them all these goals and, hey, this is what we should do. And I'm making it sound fancy, but we actually created junk mail.
Okay.
That's what we did. Yeah. We said, so these are the markets that need to have the convenience checks. Yeah. These are the markets that need that. Open a free checking account and get
You look at the age groups or whatever.
You do all the stuff and you strategize and you code everything. So we would create all the direct mail, which takes so much work, you guys. When I don't see direct mail the same way as everyone else. Like junk mail, oh my gosh, I had press checks at 2 and 3 in the morning to go make sure that the address line was correct, that the stamp was on there correctly, that everything looked right.
Big whoopsie on money if you did.
Really big. And so then everything was coded, and so then when people would come in to open their accounts and things like that, or whatever cross-selling we would do, they would put it all in their systems, and then we'd look at the database at the end of the year and we would say this worked, this didn't work. And that's exactly what I do for a living now, except no one has data on their clients.
No one has a database anymore.
People don't have a lot of databases, though everybody should gather client information because as I tell all my clients, anyone that walks in the door, it's much easier for me to get them to repeat than to go find you 5,000 people. 100%. So anyway, that's what I thought the company was going to be.
Yeah.
And it's on there. That's a service I provide, but it's not the major.
Why, it seems like you just fell in love with Tulsa as well.
Yeah, great city.
Yeah. So where does that, obviously going to college and having a good time, but there's a lot of things outside of college at Tulsa that are great.
Yeah, it's an incredible city. Yeah. And, I was a newlywed there. I got married there. I had all 3 children there. So got to become kind of a mother, an adult. Everything happened there. And then we moved here 15 years ago.
Gotcha.
And I didn't know a soul. Didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't go to college here. Didn't have any agency work here.
Right.
Didn't marry anyone with some fabulous last name.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter. I loved Tulsa so much, and then got here and had, I had 3 kids under 4.5, and I am a full-time stay-at-home mom of 20 years. I still am a full-time stay-at-home mom right now, even though the teenagers don't want to talk to me. I am still their mother 24/7. Get them to everywhere they need to be.
Right.
And I am a full-time stay-at-home mom, and that is the hardest job on earth is to be a stay-at-home mom. So shout out to all you guys, but I will say I also think it's really hard if you're a working mom outside of the home and you work 8 to 5 and then you come home and have to then be the mom from 5 to 10.
Yeah.
That's pretty excruciating.
Especially with games and football and
just
baseball
everything.
You're just
you're juggling it all. So and I think my kids were 7, 5, and 3 when I started my company 13 years ago.
What made you just decide to think, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it on my own. I'm in a new city. I can do this from my previous experiences. The business should need it.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I preconceived this idea, but I didn't. Yeah. My kids were taking art lessons from an upside-down artist that I actually met at the art festival that year.
Yeah.
And art had been taken out of our elementary schools because it's budgeted differently so they can remove it, which I hated. So being that I am of East Indian descent, I still do think it's very important for the arts to be in my children's lives because I think it's a stress reliever.
100%.
From me pushing them into math and science a little bit.
Here's a paintbrush. Here's paint.
It's a little...
Knock yourself out.
Yeah. Or what if that was their passion? You know, I mean, my kids were actually pretty talented at art. So, she was doing upside down art, and I just went up to her and asked her, hey, do you do lessons? And she ended up living 2 miles away from me.
Oh, perfect.
So I took my 7-year-old there. Yeah. My 5-year-old started pretty soon after, and she was going to open an art gallery in Moore, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And I just started talking to her, and out came all of this
previous experience of what
just
you've done
knowledge that I hadn't used in 8 years.
Yeah.
And she said, well, let me just hire you. And I thought, oh, well, I better have a company.
I better start my
LLC. I better do something. I mean, a consultant's the best job for a stay-at-home mom because I can be flexible. I can do everything I can.
Yeah, you work from your phone.
You work from, So, so I just started it. Started the LLC, and
off you go.
Off I went, and I mean, it was slow. I mean, I didn't.
Well, yeah.
No, but you got to prove yourself and do all that. But I wasn't out hustling. I had 3 little kids. I was just doing what I could do.
It's not like I'm going to make a career out of this at that point, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
I mean,
this is some extra income or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I probably made a couple $100 that year. Like I didn't even. It wasn't anything like that at all. I had no idea what was about to happen to me until 2 years later, and I walked into an Uptown 23rd District meeting that I saw on Facebook. And my entire life changed. I was scrolling Facebook in 2011.
Yeah.
And I really do enjoy all of those restaurants and businesses on Uptown 23rd. And so I somehow saw this invitation to come out. Anyone's welcome. And we met at what was
just
then being built.
As a meeting for whoever.
Yeah, that's how it starts. Yeah. You know, districts and communities kind of start that way. It's like, hey, a call for anyone that wants to volunteer because you need help. You have no money.
Yeah.
And this was in what was being built as Granddad's Bar.
Okay.
Which was then Rockford, which is now the Eleanor. And Greg and Jennifer Seal were the owners. And I walked into this. I mean, I knew nobody.
Right.
You know, I took my minivan and I parked it outside Queens Wigs and thought, I'm just going to go walk in here and see. And you walk in and there's like 50 people. The energy is electric.
Right.
I'm just sitting there like, this is crazy. You have business owners, you have neighbors, you have city council people, you have everybody. I mean, just everybody there, and it's so cool. So I'm just kind of sitting back. I've written my name on a list and my contact info, and I'm just sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what are they doing?
Right.
You know,
Who's
like, they're like
thing?
making a district. This is so cool. At this point, I think they had kind of gotten the logo that everybody sees now is pretty much finalized. So that's where they were. But they needed help, and this is how every community starts.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of volunteers. I mean, for anyone out there, I cannot say enough about the volunteers that it has taken to get every single district that like around you up and running. It's a lot of volunteer. The city had just started, I think very recently, a CDRP program by Kim Cooper Hart, which I applaud a lot. That is why you all have all these districts, is because of that. They give you seed money.
Gotcha.
They give you some in the grand scheme of things is the smallest budget.
Right, but it's a start.
But you can do so much.
Yeah,
and so we did. I would see their financials, and you know, after that meeting, the marketing guy, Matt Rawls, called me and said, hey, I see that you do marketing. Do you want to volunteer? And I'm like, acting like I have all these clients. I didn't have one client, nothing.
Like maybe.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess sure, why not? And I volunteered, and I started, and about 3 months later, we were in a marketing meeting, and they're like, somebody needs to handle our social media. And I remember Chris Lauer with Big Truck Tacos, and I do name drop a lot here, you guys, and that's just because I'm so proud of every single person I've ever met. I'm
when
just
you also
proud
know
to
them
even
personally as
when
well.
you know them,
Right.
yeah. I hope no one cares that I'm name dropping their name, but
It's
like they're part of my story, and they don't really know what my story was. I didn't talk about my kids. You don't talk about that stuff when you're just starting out. You don't want anyone to think, oh, she's going to have a PTA meeting, she's not going to be able to come.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of really proud of the fact of people that maybe did know me back then and go, wow, she did all of that and had these little kids that she was running around like a crazy person.
Yeah.
And so, he said, hey, Vilona knows we have no money. Just hire her. And so, which is true. I mean, for like hundreds of dollars, like nothing, you guys. And I said, sure, why not? And here's the thing that happens. I take over social media. Well, then all of a sudden, I take over membership because the membership is kind of the purpose of it is marketing. So then all of a sudden I'm introducing myself to all these different people and all these business owners, and the social media takes off. And I mean, we had 1,500 followers between Facebook and Twitter. We went on Instagram. And so I ended up working with them for a few years, started their Uptown Uncorked fundraising event. First one was in the Gold Dome, probably will never happen again. That was amazing for 400 people that got to attend. That was an experience. Oklahoma History Center was the second one, did their membership, left them with $85,000.
That's amazing.
And left and kept going. And just what happened was during that time, I had other people then saying, hey, I need you at Class and Curve. I need you at Nichols Hills Plaza. I need you here. Yeah. They just kept bringing me business. And to this day, that's what's happened to my business. Right. I just am referred and over again. Or someone just meets me.
Just from volunteering for that one event.
Just from volunteering. Yeah. And I'm big into volunteering. I mean, I'm a big believer in doing that if you can. But then the PR also got built. I didn't think I was going to get into PR. Right. I don't have any.
I don't even know what PR is. Right? Like, so
that's when you text the newscasters and say, hey, so I've got
PR.
This story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so many things.
There's so many things. And so, my company really just does all of it, but with a really strategic foundation where we're not just going to go by the seat of our pants. Right. And so then you've got.
There's a goal at the end of this.
There's always a goal.
Event,
let me figure out.
Whatever it is, that's the deadline. That we're working towards. Like, previous one, obviously, Mark was on for the Homeland, and that was the new store that you just opened up. Like, that was the perfect example, right, of working to a deadline of we're opening this new store. Whereas it could be Uptown, it could be Homeland, it could be whoever. It doesn't have to be necessarily around food, but like Hall of Fame is obviously
Oklahoma Hall of Fame is a client. The Skirvin Hotel is a client. I've had numerous clients from all different facets of all different levels. It's pretty astonishing. That's actually. Awesome.
So like your whole business kicks off from that point, from volunteering and putting in those years and meeting all those people. And there's a lesson there, isn't it? That like, if you're a new business owner or someone want to start a business, and most people who start businesses on the side, they are on the side, they're not your full-time gig. So you got more flexibility and you can afford to volunteer somewhere just to get the connection, right? And build that. And like you said, 2 or 3 years later, you've met all these people because you've donated so much of your time but made a real impact, that then you get the and not it doesn't always happen like this, but because of doing a good job, you've got all the impact and all that you've had the rewards from that come back. And like you said, still today people give you business.
I mean, my
10
phone,
years later.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 10 years and the phone just keeps ringing, which I'm awesome. So proud of. I don't care how small or how big the business is. I am proud of every one of them, of having all clients, because they took a chance on me and I get to be part of their story. And I think connection is huge for me, and I didn't realize it. I learned a lot about myself through my company. I had no idea that I was so big into connection. It made me understand why it's really hard for me to let go of people. Like, if like there's a friendship or something that goes awry and I'm just upset, of course you're upset about it. But like for me, it's like all the memories went with them, and it breaks my heart. And so I'm like you, Mike, I love hearing people's stories. And so if someone called me up right now and said, hey, will you meet up with me? I will rearrange my entire day to meet with them. Yeah. Because not for business purposes, but because there is a story there that I am needing to hear. Yeah. For whatever reason. Or I'm supposed to connect them with someone else that I know.
There's a reason they reached out.
There's a reason someone's reached out. And so I have a really hard time saying no. Yeah. Last week I had somebody that was DMing me, asking me to meet. And I was like, okay, I am starting to get really, really busy. Yeah. And so I do need to start saying
last
no.
Last week was probably one of the busiest.
Oh my gosh, I was so busy last week. And she wanted to meet, and I said, so I tried to do kind of those like questions you do. Okay, well, do you have a budget? And do you kind of went like that kind of typical agency route? And she didn't know what she wanted to do. Like, she didn't know she had a budget. And she just wanted to meet. And she mentioned something that triggered me in our conversation back and forth on DMs, and she said, oh my gosh, I don't want to waste your time. And she got me right there. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. I don't want anyone to think oh my gosh, I'll meet with anybody, anytime, I don't care. Like, you're not wasting my time. Just put you on that
pedestal, right? It's like, you must be so busy.
Yeah, I know. I'm not like that, though. No, there's always time. There's always a Zoom call if I can't meet you in person. Exactly. So of course we're meeting next week, because I can't. I don't want anyone to ever think it's a waste of time, and that's not what my agency is about. It's not like a typical all about the money or anything. Not that they're like that here, because I have a lot of friends that own a variety of agencies that are incredible.
But they're probably a lot more corporate structured.
They're a little bit more. They have a lot of employees. They've got, they have overhead. I have a couple employees that are part-time. That's it, And my employees, my They're part-time, but just because it's extra money for them.
Yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for somebody's mortgage.
Income. Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. So I tend to hire people that are in their late 20s, that are moms, that understand marketing, but like are older. Sorry for all the youngins out there. I love you guys, but
no, but you're right.
I'm raising you too, so I don't need to be around the young people all the time because I'm raising you.
Yeah, but like that person that reached out, that could be a huge thing, right? That could be like she might have an amazing story, and even though she has no idea what she's doing now, she might have a really cool idea or a product that you never know, and that curiosity, burns, didn't it? Like if you
can't take it. Can you right? What if you can't meet with someone?
Yeah.
You're just like, that's probably somebody. I think because the company has been developed in such a way about meeting people,
right,
and just being at the right place at the right time. It's really hard for me not to go to an event or go to something because I feel like every time I go somewhere, I meet someone incredible, and I think if I hadn't come, I would never have met that person. The connection. And maybe there was that connection was necessary.
And the next time you see that person, even it's when you go to a connection like that, it's probably in a casual setting, right? It's kind of like it's like
over drinks.
Born and brewed or over drinks, right? But then the next time you see them, it's probably in a more structured setting.
Yes.
And they recognize you, and then that's when you do business, right? It's not like you're never going to do business on that first kind of meeting.
Oh, never.
You're having a drink, you're having a good time. Oh, I remember you. Well, like people I said this to you last time. People hear you before they see you for the most part, right? Like, Vilona's here.
My voice shows up in the room before I do. As quiet as I try. When I meet new people, I try so hard to be someone else, and I'm like, it just never works. I can't be that tame.
Can't be that person.
That tame, filtered person. No, everything pretty much just comes out of my mouth.
You should never do that anyway, right?
I mean, you should just be yourself. Everyone should be authentic.
100%.
I mean, it's hard, and it is what it
Exactly.
is, but that's what I've learned through this too. Is I'm like, people call me and they want to work with me because they like me.
Yeah.
Which is really gratifying.
It's so weird to hear. People say that to me sometimes. And
yeah,
I'm just
you're amazing.
Like, why do you think that, right? Like it's because we just do what we do, right? We don't worry too much about like who we are. Like it's just kind of the personalities that we have. It's like we are who we are, and like we're comfortable in our own skin. We never really worry too much about like what someone thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm now in my 40s, so I'm pretty comfortable in my skin. And I mean, everyone knows that the older we get, the more the more shit we're not going to take.
Right. Yeah. True.
And so. But even I had 2 people approach me on Sunday when I was working a client event, and 2 people approached me with their businesses and say, hey, I want to meet you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's great. But hey, if it doesn't work out, don't worry about it. Let's just meet and have coffee.
Yeah, and then
I'm always like, you don't have to work with me. You might not like me once we do coffee. That I don't think has really ever happened to me yet. But I just never want them to feel pressured. Like we could meet and you might not feel the vibe, or I might not be able to give you what you need.
Yeah, and that happens.
Don't worry about it. Let's just go have coffee.
Yeah.
You lose clients too.
Yeah, I mean,
losing
I've done that a couple of times. It's kind of funny. Like I find it funny sometimes when I lose a client.
You do now, but how was it when it first started?
Well, it just depends on the context. I mean, for me, like obviously speaking from a real estate world, it's like it's kind of funny, but it's kind of like it's kind of annoying. And like you said, the older you get, the less you care. And I think
because there's another one coming down the road.
Exactly, right. But then if it's early on, you like stress about it, right? But now it's just like, it's just a way to learn. How can I learn? What did I do differently? And if you just who you are, and then you're like, doesn't matter. That's who I am. Deal with it.
Yeah. Either you lose them. Yeah. I mean, I've never lost anybody because of anything I've actually done or said that I know of. Oh, I hope not. I don't know. Not that I know of. But it's always budgeting or something like that.
Exactly.
But I think early on that was hard to take.
Yeah.
And now, and I even tell a lot of my other friends that own companies, or are entrepreneurs and have kind of agencies structured the same way. If they lose somebody, I kind of tell them, I go, you know what I've learned? Enjoy that downtime because something big's about to come down the road. Exactly. And it happens almost every time. And I think I would never have had the time to dedicate to this if I had gotten the clients that I needed to get.
Yeah.
And so I very much do believe somebody up there is watching after me. I don't know what's happening. But
there's opportunities everywhere, right?
There are just opportunities everywhere. You just have to knock and open the door, right?
Tell me about our obviously huge partner, sponsor of the podcast is the Hall of Fame, and they're brilliant.
Yes, they're amazing.
Tell me about what that was like, to be a part of that and we working, have them as an account.
That's a fairly new account. I think it's only been a few. What are we in August, September? Yes, it's only been a few months, and that started out as just a PR contract. Because they do need a lot of PR. I will tell you all, the Oklahoma Hall of Fame does so much more than what you even know it as. Oh my gosh, Mike knows because he knows them all too. It's incredible. And I just was like, no one knows all the different things that you do. Yes, you do, you handle the Hall of Fame, the highest honor you can ever give it.
Yeah, it's just a museum, but it's a lot more than just a building.
Oh my gosh, publishing and kids activities and just the museum itself. It's just walking in there.
Right.
You have to be a better person because you're surrounded by these portraits.
Yeah, you have these portraits of people looking at you, and you're like, rock star. Like,
I'm like, okay, this is something to aspire to be.
Right, this guy's gone to space.
I know, right? Yeah, you've gone to space. And so, I got that. And then very soon after, they gave me their social media pages, which is just an honor to be able to tell people's stories. It really, really is an honor. And I love all those department heads, and I do the best I can to tell their stories, and they know it. And so, this is the big project coming now is the induction.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
I get to do PR for Hall of Famers.
Yeah. November the 12th?
18th in Tulsa. Get your tickets. They're on sale right now.
We're going back to Tulsa.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome for you as well to go back. And
it's kind of interesting to go back to Tulsa.
Yeah, I'm really excited because obviously we didn't have it. We had it last year, but it was recorded virtual last year. And then
is this the first one that you're going to that you actually?
I'm going to, yeah.
So I went when Hal Smith became a Hall of Famer a couple years ago. So I've experienced it, and it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
And so now to be on the PR side of it is really interesting and such an honor.
I hope you still get to enjoy it, right? And not be like, I'm kind of working, but I'm still going to have a drink and have a good time.
Oh, come on. I think I can handle it. Yeah. I'll work for the hours I need to, and then the drinks will be after.
We're going to go up early, make sure we get everything done.
Yeah,
and
right?
Then
That'll be fun.
But I'm looking forward. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So that's an incredible client. I would never have thought myself 13 years ago that I would get to work with the people that I've gotten to work with. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Anyone that's curious, sorry, I don't have a website.
Yeah.
It's kind of... I don't want one.
DM. Yeah.
Everybody wants me to. All my friends that have agencies are like, let me just whip you one up. And I'm like, no, because it's too many boxes. I don't know how to tell what I do and all the services and all the different clients. And I said, no, just go on my Instagram. It's all on there.
And the personal referral has a much more weight to it rather than just go to my website,
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Tell me about the Skirvin, right? Because I know nothing about that hotel. But I know
you know nothing about the Skirvin?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, I know it's historical, right? But we
need to get you a stay out there. It's so incredible.
Yeah, tell me about. I mean, I had friends who have had their weddings there or whatever. But it's for people listening, they probably know all about it. But what's it like being on the PR side of a building that's pretty historic in the middle of downtown?
Yeah, since 1912, it's pretty incredible.
I did see the new Lego thing.
Yes, we have a Lego structure that awesome. Anybody needs to go visit that. There's a whole story behind it. I'm not going to get into it, but follow them on social media and you'll see it. But it's in the lobby and that's really incredible. And so doing the PR, social media, I do all their marketing. I do a lot of email marketing. I do a lot of stuff for them. It's really exciting. I was a little nervous, which I know. I was a little nervous because they're one of my first corporate clients.
Gotcha.
And I thought...
Who are they under then?
Marcus Hotels in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And so, I've got people in Wisconsin watching what I do. And it's interesting, but they are the nicest group of people. So just genuine and down to earth. The GM just moved here from Wisconsin.
Gotcha.
June of 2020.
So he talks funny.
He doesn't talk funny. Isn't that interesting? He doesn't.
I mean, coming from me.
He's moved around because he's in the hotel business. So I think he was in Texas and stuff too. But he doesn't talk funny. No, he doesn't. Anyway.
Is it haunted? Was it haunted in one? Where did I see that?
I'm going to have no comment on that. You all get to make a decision on your... Don't ask me that question.
I want to know about that.
No, here's the thing. I think people go in and they have whatever experience they want to have.
It's a beautiful hotel.
If you think that it's haunted, you do. Maybe it is. And if you don't, maybe it's not. I think everyone, I will tell you, I've never seen anything there, but that's just me. Everybody is different.
Has there been people who come to the hotel for that experience?
Yes, I've asked them that. So cool. People ask for the 10th floor.
The room, They ask for, it's a whole, it's a whole floor, I guess. And so they ask for it, and then you have people that don't ask for it, right? That don't want it. Yeah. And so it's just a lovely hotel. It really is. It's ginormous. It's big. It's not, the whole hotel is not haunted. It's not, I mean, the Red Piano Lounge is awesome. Christian's still out there doing his thing.
Christian Pearson is still out there. We have a lot of amazing jazz singers. So they're, it's fun. It's different. I mean, Hall of Fame, hotel, restaurants. I mean, my life is different.
Homeland was obviously a couple weeks ago.
Homeland was just this last week, this opening, and That was crazy. That was nuts. Yeah. That was an honor, though. I mean, it's an honor to build the community on the East Side for sure. The market at East Point was how that started for me, and actually before that, it started with Love OKC, which is with JB and OK Murals Syndicate, which is Chris Canale and a whole team of people asking me to help with their social media for With Love when they started it. And I remember talking to JB and saying, I never even come out to the East Side.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? And I go, well, I have no reason. There's nothing. Yeah. There wasn't anything. I hadn't been invited to anything or done anything yet. And so it started in October, and I started driving. And you just start driving there every single day. And it has grown so much since October. The East Point development's incredible. I urge everybody to go out there, go to Kindred Spirits, have a drink on the patio, go to the market at East Point, go to the eatery there. It's absolutely incredible. That is what I love about community.
And it's right there. It's not like you drive into Tulsa. It's there.
It's literally a few miles away. It's not that big a deal, but that's how community gets built.
Exactly.
Is people just getting together, deciding they want to do something, and it slowly starts. I mean, it's changed drastically since October. Yeah. It's not even been a year, and I've seen tons of businesses open there, and I love it.
Yeah.
And so all communities everywhere need that.
No doubt.
For sure. So if anybody out there ever wants to volunteer, just let me know, message me. It's important. It's really, really important.
What do you have exciting news stuff that you can talk about that's kind of coming up for the fall? And I mean, is there anything you can talk about?
Besides the induction for the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, I'm also I can't talk too much about, I'm kind of doing something with urban planning, which is interesting. Awesome. I've never dug that deep and low before, so I'm really pretty honored to be a part of something like that. You guys will hear about that soon. No, I don't. I can't think of anything too crazy. I mean, hey, next week it could all change,
right?
Mike.
Yeah,
it changes. Both of our worlds are like that.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it, though, isn't it? It's like keep doing what you do, and you never know what's going to come around. You never know what's going to pop in your email.
Yeah, you don't know who you're about to go meet when you go somewhere.
Yeah,
and so I don't know. I'm excited. I can't believe it's been 13 years. I pinch myself every year. I thought COVID was going to take me out, and it didn't happen. Because they always fire marketing people.
They do.
That's when you need them the most. But they always fire marketing people.
First thing to go.
And that's the first one to go. And I thought it was over, but it's not.
Yeah.
So
last thing, then we've got to talk about it. Indian food. Right? Obviously, nothing beats Mum's cooking.
Oh, did you see my story from last night? Is that why you said that?
So I mean, where do you, other than Mum cooking for you, where do you go for Indian food?
Yeah, I gotta say, that's my biggest thing right now, you guys. I'm trying to get chefs or restaurant groups or somebody to do a really hip, really cool Indian restaurant. I know we have a bunch, but like not the way that
There's definitely the need.
There's definitely the need. Every person I've ever talked to loves Indian. I mean, everybody loves Indian food, and they're just like, yes, yes. And the thing is, I'm from the state of Gujarat, so I'm not North Indian or South Indian, and that's most restaurants are North and South. So my mom has a totally different cuisine than what anyone's ever had.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's so amazing. And it doesn't just have to, it would be a mix.
Right, of course.
But let's mix in some other food that you all have never had that nobody in Oklahoma City has. Yeah. And so, I need to try Sheesh Mahal. I haven't tried that yet.
It's good.
It's good.
Don't get their fries, but their food's good.
Why would I get fries at an Indian restaurant?
You gotta have curry. You gotta have half and half.
Oh, I guess you know what my mom
Rice
does
and
make.
fries.
My mom does make fries, but she makes them really, really tiny. Just does some red pepper.
Well, they did have good fries, and then recently they had curly fries, which I don't think they made there. It was not very good. So you know what the trick is?
What's the trick?
Well, you go to Sheesh Mahal, you get what you want. You get your curry and your rice and your naan bread. And then you hit McDonald's on the way home and you get a large fry from McDonald's, and that's I'm telling you, it is the absolute. McDonald's has the best fries, full stop, from anybody, right? As in like quick, fast, best fries, right? Now, every time of day, doesn't matter if you're hungover at 10 in the morning or drunk at 4 a.m.
Yes,
McDonald's has the best fries.
I mean, Freddy's is
so
pretty
you
darn
pick
good.
the best fries and you put them with. You cannot telling you.
Have an Indian palate and then have. I'm not gonna eat McDonald's French fries after having Indian food.
Everyone listening, you need to try that.
No, you're not doing it. No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So
regardless, then tag us in it and put your post up and tell us.
Sheesh Mahal.
Sheesh Mahal, I need to try. I need to try saffron. That's also new.
Haven't had that one. Where's that?
I have. Yeah, I think it's new. It's over there in that same area, I believe.
On me.
It's in Bethany, I think.
Okay.
I mean that's where the Indian grocery store is, and I think it's over there somewhere. Oh, I could be wrong.
Which is where you can also buy UK chocolate from.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, my parents used to love UK Cadbury.
Yeah, Cadbury.
Oh, they would get so excited because it does taste different than the American.
It's actually got milk in it.
Yeah, ours is
real
wax.
Stuff.
Our chocolate's waxier.
It's terrible.
They used to love getting
people out here who say they
UK.
like Hershey's chocolate. They need their heads. They're probably thinking what you just thought about me talking about McDonald's fries. That's what I think about you eating a Hershey's chocolate. It's terrible.
That's okay. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, if you are gonna eat fries, I'm gonna eat. Hershey chocolate.
Where else do you? I mean, outside of Indian food, where else do you go for food and drinks?
Oh please, Mike! Why are you asking me that? I'm all over the place.
All right, where'd you go? What's the new spot? Where'd you go recently?
Gosh, I have people that literally just text me and say, "Hey, where do I go tonight? I have a date night with my husband."
And then
I'm
you just copy and paste.
I copy and paste all the paragraphs per district and go, "Here's this district, here's this one." I don't know. I mean, listen, I love Palo Santo. I love their cocktails and their tapas. That's one of my favorites. I wish they had an outdoor patio, but I love them. Great husband and wife owners. They're fabulous. I mean, who doesn't love Social Capital sitting on the rooftop? That was a client of mine as well for a while. They're amazing to work with.
We got Jake opening soon.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's a new client of mine. He'll love that shout out. Skydance Brewing, first Native American owned brewery in Oklahoma.
Jake Keys.
Yeah, Jake Keys, across from the Parlor downtown. So I'm handling that opening. That's a pretty big one too.
Right, because this COVID kind of just extended that one a year. Didn't it?
Yeah. He was already supposed to be open, but that brewery's incredible. I mean, art with DG Smalling in there, and it's
gonna be awesome.
Oh my gosh, you guys totally be on the lookout for that opening because they're amazing. I don't know. Where do you go for food and drinks?
I don't.
You don't ever go out?
I never socialize at all. I do enough of it on my phone, so I just kind of sit at home on the weekends and do nothing.
I cannot imagine. I just thought you lived this big life.
No, Born and Brewed was the first time me and Taryn had been out in a while. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because of COVID or just your personality?
Personality.
Is it because you meet people all the time through real estate in this podcast that you're just over people?
And T gets home on the weekend on a Friday and it's grab dinner and just chill.
Does she want to go out?
No.
Oh, she doesn't.
She has less of a need to go out than I.
That's why.
Born and Brewed, I was I feel obligated to go because of the Hall of Fame, and I got to meet. I want to be there. So I totally forgot that it was Friday. So I texted her at noon that day. I was like, "Hey, by the way, we're going.
We're actually going out tonight."
Oh, she was so pissed off. Right? She had a great time, but
she had a great time.
For people listening, if you work 9 to 5 and the last thing you want to do on a Friday night is to go and socialize with people you've never met before,
which is a dream come true for me.
Right? She's not that person, so she's I'm only doing this because you really need me to come with you, and we had a really good time. Because obviously,
Born and Brewed, she got to meet a lot of people that she probably heard about.
Shannon, and
a lot of people
Bruce,
she's heard about.
Everybody got to meet Javier. Had a hilarious time with Javier.
Yes,
and I ended up drinking pints of wine with ice in them with Javier.
Oh,
I was like, "What are you drinking?" He's got his pint glass. He's like, "Oh, red wine."
Oh, because
I said, "It's got ice in it." He goes, "Yeah, it's great. Try it." I was like, "Okay, now you're on."
Red wine or white wine?
Red on ice, with a pint. So I had a few drinks with him. He's firecracker.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, he's great. Great guy.
Yeah, Born and Brewed is a great event. People listening, you need to go to that next year.
Yeah, next year,
First time
August
you had it outdoors.
19th maybe.
Went really well. Live music.
It went really, really well. It was awesome. All the breweries come out. I mean, support your breweries, too. I work with the Craft Association of Oklahoma. Okay, I'm going to get this so wrong. Oklahoma Craft Brewers. No, Craft Brewers Association of Oklahoma.
That's what it was. CBAO.
Yes. Sorry, Tabby, for not having that out clearly. But they're amazing. Support your local breweries. They're incredible. We now have
Have you been up to Guthrie yet, to Mac and Ike's?
No, I want to. Oh my gosh, I saw them on
Red Brick Nights or whatever they have.
I totally saw them on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop by," without looking at the address. I'm just assuming it's down here somewhere, and I'm like,
30 minutes to Guthrie.
This isn't Guthrie. Okay, who's taking a road trip? I want to go. You're not going to go. You're going to hang out on the weekends at home.
Well, I need to go because Rachel's husband, Noah Ing, plays out there every now and then.
Yeah.
So Noah's going to play.
Great.
I need to go out and watch him play and then just kind of have, I mean, Guthrie's awesome. I think I could live in Guthrie because everything's there.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to leave too much, really.
I went there a few years ago when Mumford & Sons came out.
Amazing, wasn't it? I mean, it was like 130 degrees that day, yeah.
Yeah, when the fire truck came out and just sprayed everybody, that was the best. That was amazing. So I do love Guthrie. Yeah. I mean, I have no problem going out there. It's not that far.
It's a good spot. Well, thanks for coming down. I really appreciate
this. Thanks for inviting me. I can't believe we just did this.
Right?
I can't believe it.
But I mean, we've obviously worked with a lot of the same people, been around and done some interviews, and but this was about time. People obviously know who you are, but they don't know who you really are. So it's good to dive into it. And I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that we didn't get to, but I'm sure we'll get to it another day. But for people listening, how do they follow you, reach out? If they feel inclined or they think, hey, I want to have a drink with this person because I need to know what she does. Not for any
business reason at all. Just come have a drink with me because that's my favorite thing. I think I might do that sometime and just set up at a bar.
Yeah.
And just go, hey, here I am. If anyone wants to come and just say hi, come say hi. Which is just weird to think somebody would even want to come say hi. Right. Like, I don't think that much of myself that would even matter. Right. I'm just using an excuse to get out and just have a drink. Exactly. So, really the best is probably Instagram, VMarketing. On Instagram, obviously Vilona Michael Marketing on Facebook, but I'm really active on Instagram. Yeah. My stories are active. I think everybody always asks, gosh, how do you do it all? And I say, actually, everyone is just as busy. I just take pictures of it all.
That's
if you took pictures of your life every single day, you're just as busy as I am.
Agreed. Yeah.
So,
what's the next district that's coming? I didn't ask you that.
Britton District is coming around.
So what do you think is the next one to pop, basically?
I don't know what area. I feel like most areas. Yeah. You have Innovation District is really popping.
I work with
Western Avenue. I work with Western Avenue. Britton District is getting there. I worked on the Sunny Days Mural Fest. That was incredible. I did all their branding for Britton District, and so that's a really great area too. Yeah. I don't know. Just be on the lookout, you guys, and support. Just support all. Yeah, go support all your local.
Is JB's Pizza place open yet?
No, it is not.
So that's coming soon?
I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to get in trouble.
I remember he was talking about it, so hopefully that was another thing that was coming from him.
Just follow everyone, and you'll be in the loop.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming down. For everyone listening, I'll post the link to Vilona's Instagram down below, and we will catch you in the next episode. Cheers. This podcast is presented by the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, telling Oklahoma story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com and follow them on Instagram for daily updates at oklahomahof. The home market is booming and RCB Bank is here for you. If you're in the market to buy a home, a mortgage pre-qualification will make the process much easier. Talk to one of our mortgage professionals today. RCB Bank, that's my bank. With approved credit, terms and restrictions apply. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. RCB Bank, NMLS 798151.
Thank you for listening. We are inspired by those around us and hope that you are too. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review so we can keep telling your stories. For more great Oklahoma content, follow This Is Oklahoma on Facebook and Instagram.